Hello YouTube, LJ Draco here. Yes, this is a very weird video, but I told you guys that on Saturdays and Sundays, different videos are going to happen at different times. Um, so basically, this video is a bit random for me. Last video that I done based on anything to do with this kind of category of movie was years ago, and I've done a complete collection of it. It's my longest video I have on my channel. It's over an hour long. This is a horror-based video. It's not what a certain YouTuber thinks this video is going to be about, as you can tell by the title. That's me and another YouTuber are currently discussing something about a video I did that we're trying to do some point next week. So this video isn't about that. This video is just about something that me and my missus were talking about yesterday and the day before. We've been talking about it the past couple of days. Just about, as you can guess by the title anyway, it's about horror movies that are such, like, just masterpieces on their own that either could have been ruined by sequels or just now have lost it lost a bit of its fame from the sequels. Not mean, I know someone out there is gonna, like, someone's gonna comment and go like, oh well, you know, it hasn't actually lost its fame. It's just, oh, and people are going to probably like the sequels to some of these movies. It's just, for me, I kind of feel like these movies, if they were stand-alone movies, would have just been masterpieces on their own. And it's such great story and gripping that, you know, it would have been just better off without. But I know someone out there is going to say something about it. It's kind of irritating. But, you know, you can't stop people from saying what they got to say. That's kind of what they do. So anyway, yeah. So this video is basically top 5 horror masterpieces that did not need sequels. So let's just start off. I want to go backwards order. So from 5 down. So I'm going to start off with the first movie, and the first movie is Tremors. Tremors, who just such an amazing movie starring Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. It was just like an amazing kind of movie. It wasn't actually supposed to be a kind of horror. It was just, I think it was supposed to be more of a thriller than anything else. But you know, back then in the 90s, stuff like this was kind of scary. Big ass creatures that could climb underground and eat from the inside, and it was very gruesome for a 90s kind of movie. So in fairness, it's definitely, yeah. But I don't know, there was something, but the chemistry between Valentine and Earl was just amazing. Then you had Bert, who was played by Michael Gross. It was just fantastic. It was just a great movie. So the chemistry between the characters was amazing. The graboids, as they were called, were terrifying. The fact that if you make a sound or any kind of vibration, would bring them to you, no matter how far they were away. I think that on its own was just a great movie. But then they made up to, I think, what was the last one they made? Number 5? Oh God, no. They've made 5 of these things. Tremors 2 was slightly reasonable. If it definitely wasn't needed. 3, 4, and 5 just definitely not. It's just, I think they should have just kept it as a standalone movie. Now, number 4 is the original Fright Night. Now, I know the original Fright Night hasn't lost its fame, because I know it's still a very worldly loved movie, but it did get a sequel. Plus, it got the remake starring the late Anton Yelchin. Rest in peace, mate. Good actor. But it didn't need a sequel. It didn't need a remake. A classic. When did this movie come out again? Let me see. 1985, right? So a good odd 20-something years ago. No, 30 odd years ago actually. Sorry, it's 32 years ago that movie came out. Um, you see what I'm saying? It wasn't needed. It wasn't. The sequel wasn't needed at all. It was just a great old classic horror movie. Um, and they had to go in and make sequels. And I've not seen the sequel. So in fairness, me saying this one is kind of, I've seen all the other Tremors. I haven't seen Fright Night Part 2, but everyone that I've heard who has watched Fright Night Part 2, I've seen the remake. No, but everyone that I've heard who's talked about Fright Night Part 2 says it's one of the worst movies to exist. So yeah, if that's the case, then it wasn't needed. Especially if it's not really a rememberable movie. If it's not a rememberable movie, it definitely wasn't needed. That's just kind of stupid. Alright. Number 3 is, yet again, 1987 movie. An incredible vampire movie, The Lost Boys. Definitely wasn't needed of a sequel. You had Jason Patric as Michael. Corey Haim, rest in peace, as Sam. And you had Kiefer Sutherland as David. But it was me and my friend DJ and my family. We all loved this movie. The vampires were amazing. The story were amazing. I love Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. When they team up when he goes to the comic book store and he sees Corey Feldman with his brother in the shop and they're talking about vampires and stuff. But it's just interesting. I love the David's biker group, and I'm pretty sure one of the vampires in David's group was the guy who plays it's either Bill or Ted from the Bill and Ted movies. But it was just a fantastic movie on its own. I have seen the sequels. There's 2 of them, and they're both absolute pants. They weren't needed in the slightest. So yeah. Alright, now, these last 2, me and my partner were talking about the most, because she hasn't seen the number 1 option that I'm gonna say, but she's seen this one, and this one came out in 2004, and it's the original Saw movie. Saw was such a cleverly thought out masterpiece of a movie. I love the way they got the characters who were kind of not related as in family, but related in their lives. They both had relevance to each other, but they didn't want to talk about it. Or the guy was secretly filming the guy for his wife, or for someone else. I can't remember who it was for. Then you had Saw was spoiler alert. Saw was laying in the middle of the ground the entire time. Well, Jigsaw was laying in the time he was there the entire movie, listening technically to every conversation. Not really listening because he was but he was there. He was involved the entire time. Fantastic. It was great. And then they went and made Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the final chapter, and now they're making another one. There's no need for it. They should have just left the Saw movies alone. The first one would have been it would have gone through history as an iconic horror movie. They didn't need any more sequels at all. It was just Saw 1 was just a brilliant movie on its own. And the final movie, not many people know or talk about, which really pees me off, but it's a great movie. 1997 it came out, and this one's called Cube. Now, Saw took some aspects of Cube and used it in Saw. That you can see from the bat off. But Saw was still a masterpiece of a movie because there's a lot... Okay, every movie takes something from different movies, even if these ones are masterpieces or not. Every movie will take something from a different movie. But Saw did take a couple of mini aspects from this movie to use for Saw, and it worked quite well. But this is where the original source material of some of those aspects were. Cube was a brilliant movie where it was 5 to 6 people were trapped inside this cube, which is this massive, enormous place but it's full of mini cube rooms that will switch and change. Now, certain rooms have certain traps, and certain rooms are safe to travel through. These people have to try and find their way through the cube to the other side to get out. You have a nerdy, intelligent woman called Levin. You had a doctor who was called Holloway. You had a businessman called Worth. You had a mentally ill person called Kazam. You had an escaped prisoner called Renz. And you had a ex-police officer called Quentin. So this was just an amazing movie, and yeah, it's very sadistic. Like, these rooms can do so many different stuff. There's a room that's like on fire. There's a room with mini blades. There's a room where there's like poison gas. There's a room with cheese wire. So much in this movie. Yeah, do you know? It's just such an it's an amazing film. There's this one scene from Cube that just, it makes me laugh. Like, it's just the police officer, the one who plays Quentin. He just says something to Holloway that makes me laugh so much. So I'm gonna try and see if I can find the clip. If I can't find the clip, then I'll just like say it now.
I know your type. No kids. No man to fuck you. So you go around outraged, sticking your nose up other people's assholes, sniffing their business.
I don't know why. Oh, it just makes me laugh. Oh, it's an amazing line. It's probably one of my favourite catchphrases from a movie. Oh, it's not a catchphrase, it's a fucking quote. So it's one of those, but it's just amazing. Just nose up other people's assholes, sniffing their business. Oh, it's amazing. But yeah, see, the Cube is an amazing movie, but then they made two more. They made Cube Zero, which was just a prequel, which is like the third movie, but it was a prequel, and the cube was a giant sphere, but it was still called a cube. That already alone pissed me off. And the second one's called Hypercube, where they made a second cube, but more dangerous. And in fairness, the thing that made the cube scary, the first cube, was all the rooms were pretty much dark. They were different colours, but they were reasonably dark. In Hypercube, they're so fucking bright. And this is what takes the piss. In the first cube, no one was allowed their own clothes. They had to wear these jumpsuits. Jumpsuits, boxers, and vests. In the second one, all the people that were in the cube were wearing their own clothes. Why? It makes no sense. Hypercube and Cube Zero were terrible. Cube 1 was a brilliant movie on its own. And the fact that they made two, no one has practically heard of Cube. And it's probably because the other two got made, and then everyone just kind of like pushed the trilogy aside. Cube 1 is a fantastic horror movie on its own. It does not need sequels or a prequel, but it got it. So yeah, anyway, this video was just about top 5 horror movies that masterpieces that did not need sequels or prequels. If you guys don't agree, then that's fair enough. I mean, if you guys like the sequels or prequels to any of these movies, then, you know, everyone has their own different tastes. Just for me personally, I think that the first movie to all of these, all 5 of these, were just standalone great movies on their own and did not need anything else. So anyway, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video and previous videos, please show your support by clicking that like button down below. And if you're new to my channel and only seen a couple of my videos, please hit that subscribe button as well. Show your support. I'd be much appreciative of that. And I'll see you next time.